Ladies and gentlemen, don't compare yourself to anyone. Hear me out. You've got to stop it. Right now, stop comparing yourself to others. Stop measuring your worth by someone else's success, their possessions, their beauty, their relationships, their achievements. Every time you do, you strip yourself of the power that is uniquely yours. Comparison, it's a subtle, silent thief. It doesn't announce itself with grand fanfare. And then she went on to tell me I was too young to know the truth. It creeps in when you're scrolling through your phone, seeing someone else's perfect pictures. It sneaks in when you hear about your friend's promotion, their new car, their perfect relationship. It whispers in your ear, why not you? Or worse, you're not enough. But let me tell you something, and I need you to let this sink deep into your heart. Comparison is not truth. It is not reality. It's an illusion, a dangerous one that convinces you to believe lies about yourself. Let's take a moment to break this down. Imagine you're walking through a forest surrounded by trees. Some are tall, some are short, some are wide, some are narrow. Each one is different. Now tell me, would you compare one tree to another? Would you look at a pine tree and say, it's not as good as the oak? No. You'd appreciate each tree for what it is. The pine is beautiful because it's tall and slender. The oak is majestic because of its sprawling branches. Both are incredible in their own way. And yet, when it comes to people, when it comes to you, you forget this truth. You forget that you too are like one of those trees, unique, unmatched, and beautiful in your own right. Let me ask you this. Who told you that you're supposed to be like someone else? Who told you that your life, your journey, your timeline should look like theirs? Who decided that their path is the standard for your success? I'll tell you who. No one. No one but the voice of fear, insecurity, and doubt. And it's time to silence that voice for good. And it's time to silence that voice for good. You see, we live in a world where comparison is a constant temptation. Social media bombards us with highlight reels of other people's lives. We see their successes, their vacations, their milestones. But we don't see the struggles behind the scenes. We don't see the sleepless nights, the failures, the doubts they had to overcome to get there. You're comparing your raw, unpolished life to their edited, filtered version. That's not fair to you, is it? Let me tell you what happens when you fall into the trap of comparison. You start to shrink. You start to doubt yourself. You stop pursuing your dreams because you think, what's the point? I'll never be as good as them. You let someone else's light dim your own. And in doing so, you rob the world of your unique brilliance. But here's the truth. You have something that no one else has. You have talents, ideas, a perspective, a voice that no one else can replicate. You are an original. There will never be another you, not in this lifetime, not in any other. And that is your power. Think about this. When a painter creates a masterpiece, do they sit there staring at another artist's work trying to copy it? No. They focus on their own canvas. They pour their heart, their soul, their imagination into what they're creating. That's what you need to do. Stop looking at someone else's life and start painting your own masterpiece. And don't get me wrong, admiration is fine. It's okay to look at someone else's success and feel inspired. But the moment admiration turns into envy, the moment it makes you feel less than, that's when you need to stop and check yourself. Because someone else's success doesn't diminish yours. Their light, doesn't dim yours. The sun doesn't stop shining just because the moon is glowing. There's room in this world for all of us to shine. Do you know what real success is? It's not about being better than someone else. It's about being better than the person you were yesterday. It's about growing, learning, and becoming the best version of yourself. And that's a journey only you can take. When you focus on your own journey, you free yourself from the weight of comparison. You stop running someone else's race and start running your own. You stop wasting energy trying to keep up with others and start using that energy to move forward, step by step, toward your own goals. Let me tell you about a farmer. He doesn't stand in his field staring at his neighbor's crops, worrying about how tall their corn is or how green their grass looks. No, he waters his own soil. He plants his own seeds. He tends to his own harvest because he knows that if he takes care of his land in time, it will bear fruit. You need to do the same. Focus on your own growth, your own dreams, your own life. Stop worrying about what everyone else is doing. Thank you very much for being yourself. Brothers and sisters, I want you to listen to me, and I mean really listen. I don't care where you've been, what you've done, or what anyone has told you about yourself. Today, I'm here to tell you one thing. Stop comparing yourself to anyone. Stop it right now. If you do not have an honest relationship with the Lord or Jesus Christ, you no longer have a home. Comparison is a silent killer. It doesn't knock on the door. It sneaks in through the cracks. It steals your joy, your focus, and your peace. It takes all the good, beautiful things about you and blinds you to them, making you think you're not enough. And when you live in the shadow of comparison, you start shrinking into someone you're not meant to be. But let me ask you something. Who are you comparing yourself to? Your neighbor? Your coworker? That person you see online? Let me tell you something about them. They're not you. They don't have your story, your struggles, your strength, or your unique purpose. You're measuring yourself against people who have never walked a mile in your shoes. How can you compare yourself to someone who's living a completely different life? Comparison is the enemy of gratitude. It keeps you looking at what you don't have instead of what you do. You're so busy watching someone else's life that you forget to live your own. You look at their car, their house, their job, their relationships, and you think, why don't I have that? But do you know what you don't see? You don't see their battles. You don't see the nights they cried, the failures they faced, or the sacrifices they made. Every single person you're comparing yourself to is fighting their own fight. And here you are, wasting your energy trying to keep up with them when you should be running your own race. Let me tell you something about life. It's not a competition. Life is not a race where the person who gets there first wins. No. Life is a journey. A personal, unique, and beautiful journey that is yours alone to walk. The moment you start comparing yourself to someone else, you abandon your own path. You take your eyes off what matters. You see, when you compare yourself, you're playing small. You're looking at someone else's blessings, someone else's success, and you're saying to yourself, maybe I'm not good enough. But let me tell you this, you are good enough. You've always been good enough. From the moment you took your first breath, you were more than enough. You weren't born to be a copy of someone else. You were born to be you. Think about that for a moment. The world has over 8 billion people in it, but there is only one you. Your voice, your story, your talents. No one else has them, and yet you're wasting your time trying to be like someone else. No. You are not here to blend in. You are here to stand out. Stop trying to fit into someone else's mold. You weren't made for their mold. You were made for your own. And let me tell you something about molds. They're broken on purpose. They're broken so that no one else can fit into yours. You need to stop scrolling through your phone, looking at other people's lives and feeling like you're falling behind. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're on your timeline, not theirs. Your journey is unfolding in its own time, and that's exactly how it's meant to be. Let me tell you a story. There were 2 seeds planted in the same soil, side by side. One sprouted in just a few days, and it grew tall and fast. The other seed stayed underground. Weeks passed, and it didn't even break the surface. And the first plant looked down and said, "Why are you still down there? Look how tall I am." But the second seed wasn't ready yet. It was growing roots, deep, strong roots that would hold it steady for the storms ahead. And one day, when the second seed finally broke through the ground, it grew taller and stronger than the first. Why? Because it took its time. It focused on building a foundation instead of rushing to the top. You are that second seed. Stop worrying about how fast someone else is growing. Your time is coming. Your roots are growing. And when you rise, you will rise stronger than you ever imagined. Comparison is a distraction. It takes your eyes off your own blessings and puts them on someone else's. But let me tell you this. What's meant for you will always be yours. No one can take it from you. No one can live your purpose for you. Your life is a gift. Your journey is a masterpiece in the making. And do you know what's crazy? You don't even see it. You're so busy looking at someone else's painting that you're ignoring the beauty of your own. You've got to stop that. You've got to stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You don't know what they've been through to get there. You don't know the price they paid for their success. And even if you did, it doesn't matter, because their story is not your story. Your glass is full first time, and everybody goes. Do you know what happens when you stop comparing yourself to others? Freedom. You get to live your life without the weight of someone else's expectations. You get to celebrate your own wins, no matter how small they may seem. You get to walk your own path at your own pace without constantly looking over your shoulder. So today I challenge you, let go of comparison. Let go of the need to prove yourself to anyone. Let go of the idea that you're not enough, because you are. You always have been. Your worth is not determined by what someone else has or does. Your worth is already written into the fabric of who you are. You are unique. You are powerful. You are here for a reason. Stop looking at their garden and start watering your own. Stop envying their light and start shining your own. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone, because there's no one else like you. And that, my friends, is your greatest power. So stand tall, walk boldly, live fully, and never, ever compare yourself to anyone. because you were made to shine, and the world needs your light.